All right, welcome to Rapid Fire Manufacturing. Today I'm with Yuto Matsuura. He's fourth generation owner of Matsura. He's got an incredible passion for the machining world and just super excited to have him on here. I see his enthusiasm on LinkedIn and it's an honor to have you, Yuto.
Oh, it's an honor to, do this podcast with you, and thank you for invitation. And I might not speak good English, but I would like to give a shot.
No,
Nothing to lose.
You're absolutely. So I don't know. I wanted to talk maybe a little bit about getting into this machining world. You kind of talked about it before we started. Was it a different childhood? Did you get thrown into it, or if you want to explain that a little bit?
Sure. So I think many people in this industry, particularly in this family, if someone is in family business and if they own machine shop, I think they have very common stories, right? They grew up in childhood and their dads take them to their machine shop and they're a little bit exposure in this industry. In my case, when I was a kid, I really never got brought into a factory. Of course, time to time on the weekend, I got a chance to visit there, but I saw just empty factory. And I really didn't know what my dad's business is about, to be honest. So the question is how I got involved in this business, right? And so when I was 15 years old, Great Recession happened. So it was 2009, 2010. So at that time, the economy got really, really bad. So as a family business, it is very, important to think about a strategy to pass down their shares of company. Does it make sense to the next generation?
Yes, it does.
So at that time, because the economy is so bad, the value of our business is also lower than normal. Katsu, my father, he thought it is a great opportunity to pass down part of share to the next generation. And so he took a risk, and actually he sat down. He and myself sat down, and he asked a question. I know this is a tough decision and it's hard to make, but will you join this business? Obviously, yes and no. And if I say no, I probably wouldn't join this business for the rest of my life. Then I always felt the pressure when I was a kid because my grandfather or anyone, like relatives or friends of my grandfather, everyone said, oh, you are the fourth generation, you will have big shoes to fill, and whatever. So I kind of knew everyone expected for me to join this business as the next generation. And I naively said, yes, I will join the business. And that's all started. Since then, of course, all the education, the training, all the career path towards Matsura machinery was set. Since then, I really had more pressure on my shoulders. And I always question myself, am I the right person? I'm so worried if I can do this good or well. But when I was 22 years old, 23 years old, it's all changed. So at that time, I was a student living in Canada. Actually, I did a master's degree in engineering. And at that time, my grandfather, the second generation Masanori, passed away. And of course, I attended his funeral, and we had another business memorial ceremony. And thankfully, friends of my grandfather attended this ceremony as well. And they were kind enough to share all the nice stories about Masanori. They touched my heart, actually. And I was a student from Japan living in Canada, but I got all the support from my grandfather's friends. So I realized how important the relationship is, and I was so fortunate to born in this family because no one can get this kind of privilege if I was not born in this family. Then I thought it would be so wrong if I don't do my best for this family business. So since then, my mindset has changed. Yeah, does it make sense?
Absolutely. And one thing that goes through my mind is how did you deal with some of the pressure? Because that's a lot of pressure, right? Fourth generation, you feel like you have this role to fulfill, right? Everyone's watching. How did you deal with some of that pressure, especially going through college in a completely different continent as well?
Well, to be honest, living in Canada experience changed my mindset a lot. It's a life-changing experience for me because I got out of my comfort zone. It was very hard because I didn't speak good English back then, but I accomplished it somehow. Then it resulted in more confidence in myself. Then I finally thought maybe I would be able to contribute to my business, right? To pay back what I got from my predecessors, my families. But of course, after I joined this business, I also struggled, right? I would like to give you an example. So when I joined Matsura, it was 2018 September. So 2 weeks after I joined this business, we had IMTS, Chicago show. So that was my first exposure to the international business in this industry.
That's a lot.
My father, Katsu, is such an entertainer. He is really, really good at making friends with the people and maintaining good relationship, and he does whatever entertains people. So for example, he did karaoke. He sang few songs in front of a few hundreds
That's
of
awesome.
people. And this is what we do every time. But looking what he did, what he was doing, besides, I was terrified. I was, what is this something I need to do as the next generation? I'm not a very good singer and I don't have the courage to do this in front of many people. That was so scary. And then again, I questioned myself, do I really want to do this? Am I the right person? Are we sure I'm the right person? But I think this is the worst idea you can have, because of course we are family, so we share the same family blood and we respect the same culture, same family philosophy. But at the end of the day, we have to understand we are completely different person in terms of personality, right? So he's a people person, Katsu. But I might be more shy, but I think I have something else where I'm really good at. Of course, time goes by, I kind of, realize, okay, I might be not this person, and I might be able to do better in other areas. I think that's how I would like to think about, what I want to do, because there are so many things that owner can do and which others cannot do. Does it make sense?
Yes. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's kind of my focus.
Now, is it something too you've developed kind of, let's say it's like a muscle, right? Where you develop courage and you start to do more and more. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, once I started, I think I feel more confident. Like I feel more confident. It doesn't mean it does not mean I'm better than before. It's like I understand the problem and the challenge ahead of us more. I have better understanding. Then kind of I'm more sure that if I solve this problem, I can grow our business more. So identifying challenges and the business problems, that helps me a lot to have a confidence for the future.
That's awesome.
That
No,
sounds
yeah,
fair?
that's absolutely. How do you keep your family's history alive while making new kind of ideas for Matsuura?
Yeah, sure. So I think I've talked about this a little bit earlier, but so again, I'm a fourth generation, and that means my great grandfather is a founder, and Matsura Machinery was established in 1935, 90 years ago. So, but unfortunately, I have never met the founder in person ever in my life because he passed away before I was born. But somehow I know his personality and what he cares about in his business because I know all the stories. For example, if you ask what is machinery's philosophy is, we always answer, do what no one else does. And this is actually our founder's words, and we truly follow this philosophy now today as well. So we can see his value, his core value, and his what he cares about in our corporate culture as well. So in my conclusion, family history is really a combination of story and culture. And with a story, you never realize it's a family thing. Without the culture, telling a story doesn't make any sense. It's not meaningful. Then in terms of the culture, I think in a good way and in a bad way, it's very hard to change. So once the culture is established, I think it runs itself. But the story side, I think you can do a lot about it. So for me, as a next generation, I think you should start seeing as many people as possible, to talk, to have a conversation, to listen to them, to understand what they said, and also you are the one to share the stories with others, because that's how the story is passed on to the next generation. So for me, it's the same story. I shared how I started, how I joined this business. It's all because of a story I heard from the friends of my grandfather. And then I realized how relationship is important. This relationship supported me in my life, and I got all the privilege because of this. So story is very powerful. And I think that's really, really how the family history works and how we maintain their family history alive. And I think you asked her how. Sorry, did I answer your question right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, and I think that covers it. If you continue to do what your father and your grandfathers and great grandfathers have done, you're going to be successful because that message is so powerful, right? That's amazing. What do you think is one of the top challenges in CNC machining today? And how do you think we can solve it?
Okay, so I think everyone shares the same opinion about this. It's obviously shortage of people. This is the worst issue in this industry, but we have a good solution, I believe. So automation is a key. I think the world is moving towards a lot more high-mix, low-volume production. So in this world, sometimes robot automation is challenging because it's a lot of investment and people want to have a flexibility, right? Because they never know what it will happen in the future. They have secured some volume work now, but in 5 years, in 10 years, this robot system can handle that. We are not so sure. So flexibility is very important, right? But
what's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned that's kind of helped your family lead Matsuura?
Yeah, so as I travel, everyone says, oh, Matsura family is different. Matsura family is so unique. Of course, they have experience working with another machine tool builders. I thought it was normal for us, but what makes us unique as an owner is that we always visit end users and we always have very casual conversations but this doesn't mean we would like to give a good impression to them. It's really part of a strategy of our business. So we are not a big size manufacturer compared to others in this industry. We are located in a small town called Fukui, which is not like Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo. The education level is not same. So in terms of English, let's say. For us, for me, Katsu and myself always travel all over the world to see customers. This is actually to get the feedback, and we apply this feedback to the business immediately. So we have to act quick to survive in this industry. And there are handful of people who can speak English and who can have a good understanding of technology to some extent and also have enough power to change the business. So this is very important for us to meet people directly to share the feedback. Then we think that we apply the change. And I think that's the biggest lesson I got from this family, philosophy. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's amazing too, to travel and to get the feedback in person and have those conversations. Then you take that feedback back to the factory, you apply it, you give it to the engineers and everyone, and you figure out how can we make our product better. That's amazing. I do see that we are out of time here, Yuto.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you so much. No, you're fine. I try to do these quick. I said, who knows? Maybe the next interview will be in person at your factory. So
sure, yeah, you're always welcome. Let me know when you come to Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Yuto.
Thank you.